Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God!
Did
Did you see the guy's the mascot?
Yeah, he's right there. Follow him.
What does he do?
If he grabs you, he kills you.
Yeah, he'll turn you into a zombie. He's gonna puke in your mouth and kill you. I'm not kidding.
He actually does that.
Oh shit! Go! So, rewind about 5 months. Halloween is coming up, and you keep seeing the same game everywhere online. It looks fresh off of a PS2. You can literally count the pixels on screen and barely make out what you're seeing, but everyone, everywhere, seems to love it. If you're like me, you proceeded to buy the game to see what everyone was talking about, had the time of your life screaming with friends and being fired 10 times in the same day. But I haven't been playing much recently, and I want to revisit it and go back to playing some more, but it led to the question, did this game live up to the initial hype almost half a year later? Let's talk about it. So, before we get into this, let me know in the comments if you're still playing this game, what you think of it after having had it for a while, and just your opinion on this in general. Do you think it lived up to the hype? But before we talk about that, what made this game so good in the first place? So, in order to see if it lived up to the hype, we need to understand why it got to that level of hype. And anyway, what made Lethal Company good really boils down to 3 main components: fear and simplicity, immersing with friends, and creative enemies. So, I mentioned the graphics earlier, and they are objectively not great, but it really works in Lethal Company's favor. By keeping everything in this pixelated form, it looks more mysterious, and everything's harder to make out. The almost constant dark setting makes every shadow pop and every creature look more unsettling, not to mention the immersion it creates. I've had countless times where I was looking down a hallway or some kind of railing, and I saw something in the distance, and I just can't tell. Is that a loot bug? Or is that a bracken that's about to come and snap my neck? Not to mention when you're outside and it's foggy, or the snowy planets like Rend, it's pretty good. It really creates immersion that really a lot of games haven't created for me in a long time. But on to point 2, the proximity chat feature in this game really adds to the immersion. Hearing your friends scream fade as they're dragged into the darkness by some unknown monster is not only hilarious, but terrifying. I couldn't tell you how many times I was sitting there and there's 10 minutes of peace, begging for some action, just for everything to go to complete terrifying shit in less than 10 seconds. And it's the reason the game never got boring. When I first started playing it, I thought it would get repetitive, I'd get tired of it, I'd need something new, they need new updates, new monsters, but even if I got killed by the bracken 1,000 times, hearing the different reactions from my friends or random players makes it just as fun as the first time it happened. And for what this game lacks visually, it more than makes up in atmosphere for all the reasons I just described. This is what makes it have major successes, like outcompeting a AAA game like MW3 on release. I mean, that is literally insane for an indie dev studio to outcompete a game with almost 20 years of history and a dedicated player base that's not going anywhere. People wanted something fresh and different, and this single dev delivered, which, side note, is still insane that one guy pulled all of this off on his own. I mean, that is crazy to me. But the other main component that had people drawn to this game was the simple creativity behind the monsters. See, we've gotten a lot of horror games recently, and you really see the same enemy every time. Shadow figure, or some kind of random AI creature that follows you around the whole game and you can't do anything about it. See, having a variety of these strange alien creatures and all of them having a different method to fight them, and random spawns more than one at a time, I mean, it made things fresh, and it made everyone excited to see what crazy, scary ass thing am I going to run into next. And, like, honestly, the planets, the different settings, they weren't that exciting to explore. They had limited differences. Sure, the outside was a little bit different. There's different obstacles, but I didn't really care. At most, the difference between the mansion and the facilities were cool, but what drew people to progress was encountering even more disturbing and dangerous monsters on their next run. It was my favorite part of the game by far. I mean, I played every mission on the same map, doing the same repetitive task over and over again, just waiting to see a glimpse of a new monster, wondering what else was out there that was going to come after me, and it was awesome. And this isn't just something I thought, and it led to Lethal Company's all-time peak. So this happens 2 months after release in December, and it had more than 240,000 active players at one time, which is insane. That is so many people at once playing one simple game that I think is even less than a gigabyte big. So, after the initial excitement wore off, the developer really needed to either add more monsters, maps, or additions to keep players hooked. This was something I kept saying over and over again, and my friends talked about a ton of times, trying to debate and think, can this one guy really keep up with the demand and make that much more to the game? I had faith in him, but this would have been incredibly difficult as a one-man team, so he made the smartest decision he could have. The decision that keeps so many games alive today. He opened it up to modders. The modding community for Lethal Company is massive, and they've been pumping out new content faster than it's possible to play if you did it as a full-time job. Not to mention the game itself having several new updates since release from the developer, but these things have been widely well received. I mean, there are mods that I would think more players play with than don't. And the game's doing really, really well because of it. The reason I left off the max player count on the last chapter is because it's the easiest way to compare popularity. As I'm making this video right now, it's the middle of the day, and there are 60,000 players, about 25%, almost exactly, of the peak back in December. At a glance, this may sound bad, losing 70% of people at one time, but really it's not. All games ebb and flow, especially after an insane surge like that at release. Not to mention other great indie games like Helldivers 2 and Palworld's drawing players away right now. All in all, Lethal Company had a great launch, and it's done awesome to maintain success in the half a year it's been out. It was a lot of fun getting back into the game to make this video. I mean, collecting this gameplay was, I haven't played in a while, and it was a lot of fun. It really reminded me why I love this game so much, and I'm excited to revisit this topic in the future and see how it's doing a year from now, 2 years from now. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.